Hello, everybody. Welcome to 911.
The podcast that St. Helena didn't know it needed.
This is Hillary.
And this is Chris. And thanks for joining us on 911 Podcast.
Are you ready, Chris, for another episode?
I suppose so. If you're one of the 2,500 people who have supposedly downloaded this podcast over the life of the last 13 episodes, I'm sorry, but thank you for sticking with us.
It's very exciting. We're getting some momentum. Like, remember our first episode, we said it was going to be like you, me, my mom that downloaded it? I think now your mom downloads it too.
She does. But just because you sit at the office and hit download doesn't mean we actually have 2,400 people who listen to
I
this.
do have a day job. I don't have time to just sit there and download it.
Do you think all 2,500 people have actually listened to it, though?
I think they listen to at least 3 seconds.
Doubtful, but okay.
We have a good intro song.
Exactly.
Exactly, see?
Welcome to the podcast, guys. Today, it's already gone downhill quickly because our friend. Would you like to introduce our
I think
guest?
we have some housekeeping stuff to discuss first. You are already a horrible father.
Fine, I know.
So if you've been listening, you knew that we were. If you can hear that, our new addition.
He's agreeing that I'm a terrible father.
It's a boy.
Congratulations.
How does that feel to know that like your heir is being passed down? Is that the right term?
I just thought I smelled some air coming from down there a little bit ago. So yes.
But we have baby boy Wallace.
Wally.
I'm maybe a little more excited than you are, but that's fine. It's fine.
Apparently a part owner with Wallace. 180th, which means I have to spend 2 days per year with him.
He'll take what he can get. Okay, now we can get into it.
Well, good. Our guest was getting sleepy over there.
I didn't know if I could pop in. I wanted
Pop
to sing
in.
an intro song.
So if you don't recognize him by his voice, everybody, Jason Driscoll, winemaker for Tilth Wines, St. Helena resident, and what else would you say? 911 fan.
Yes.
And magazine star.
Oh my God, he was in. So if you guys don't know this,
Oh gosh,
we're literally dealing with St. Helena royalty here, guys.
kind of a big deal.
I am actually not holding the edition of St.
I think you told me you threw it out.
St. Helena Living that
My side copy.
that Jason and Hillary and his kids were in, but they were in a wonderful edition of St. Living. I threw it away. But if I ever find one,
You're going to have him sign
I'm
it?
going to have him sign it and keep it.
I feel like that's a
Mass
nice
published.
like touching point that
Yeah.
that's how you guys knew each other, but we all met at dinner, but we bonded over the fact that there's 2 Hillarys in your
There's
guys'
2
lives
Hillarys.
now.
That name is very special to me. That is my wife's name.
That's great. So let's start with how you got to Napa. Jason, how'd that whole thing happen?
So I met Hillary, my wife,
Mm-hmm.
in college. We went to Pepperdine in Los Angeles or Malibu.
Cool. Wow.
Horrible town.
Way better place than
Hideous.
Sacramento.
But we graduated in 2009 and there were no jobs. So I got a job. I took basically what job I could get, and that was through my dad. So typical millennial, had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I was selling soup for Campbell's Soup
No
in
way.
like Compton, Watts. Like I drove a minivan, a company van that said good on the license plate. So like
Wait, I kind of love this though.
no, I was hot. So we
Because the
lived-
soup was like boiling? Or...
Just talk to Hillary. She was really like excited about right after college getting married to a soup salesman. But her dad was stoked too. But so we lived in like a really small apartment in Marina Del Rey. Really small apartment, and I would stack all the POS, like the sales materials and stuff, like in our kitchen. And one of them was the size of a wine barrel soup can, filled with. The goal was to like fill it with soup and place it in grocery stores. You get like a bonus. So like anytime we had guests over, they would just see all this like Campbell's soup memorabilia all over. And like we're in Los Angeles, like you're filled with a bunch of aspiring actors, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's my car out there. The gray like 1996 minivan. Anyways, so that's why I moved to Napa. But no, so I was obviously miserable. I really hated my life.
Hashtag Campbell's Soup. Maybe they could be a sponsor for that.
Sorry. Fantastic company to work for. Great benefits.
And I'm sure you got free soup.
Yeah, which was super low in sodium and super healthy. But no, for some reason, this sounds horrible saying this, but I developed like throughout college and all that. And I grew up kind of cooking with my mom, but this like passion for like healthy food, working at Campbell's. I think it was like me going against the grain. So I applied to culinary school as one does, who just got married. And in order to go to culinary school, this is like a super long story, but you got to get 6 months experience. So Hill and I were just like, let's get out of LA. We went up to Washington. I happened to get a job at a kitchen called Campagna, who does like restaurants. They don't pay when you work in, as a commis or whatever. So the one paying job I could get was working at a winery. So I worked in the cellar at Elsom Cellars, which is like a garage winery. This lady, Jody Elsom, who's a badass making killer wines up there in Washington, basically was like, all right, like, she paid me actually she paid me like $15 an hour, which I was loaded back then. $15 an hour was insane.
It was in 2009.
It was 2009. Oh yeah, I was driving a Lambo. But so I would do that. I'd commute at night to Seattle to cook, and then Hillary was working. She was a personal trainer at Nintendo, so she did like fitness classes there.
That's
so
fantastic.
we were like
Never Nintendo Wii.
It was yeah. And we lived in a little mother-in-law suite, which is like 500 square feet, in no windows whatsoever. So whatever, I got my experience. I got into the CIA. We end up moving to Napa. I'm still like gung ho. I'm going to be a chef, and then the reality hit. Like I'm working at Bouchon. I worked at Chalk Hill cooking. I did a stage at Terra. Went to Chicago. Did a stage at Charlie Trotter's, and I was like, this is the best. But I got home at like 3 a.m, and Hillary was like. We both were. I say Hillary was like that, but we both were just like, this is exhausting. If we want to have a family, like kitchen hours, not working. So, you're in Napa Valley going to culinary school, and you're exposed to all these wineries and all these vineyards. It's like, all right, well, how are we going to stay here, raise a family here? I got to figure out something to do. So, like, something to make money and, like, dig our roots here. Dig our roots?
Sounds good to me.
Plant our roots, whatever,
Planting? Yeah.
And this guy, Justin Stevens, gave me a job working at Honeycutt, and
that was it. Honeycutt was the start.
And we just set our roots, and I never left. Yeah.
And then you keep.
There's my
showing
15-minute story.
And you started with a pretty cool group at Honeycutt too. You had the old Jake Franklin. You had.
I got so lucky. So I worked there the hardest before they showed up.
Yeah.
No experience really except for Washington. Got my tail kicked. And then that was in 2012. 2013, there was all these interns. Huh. And it was Jake, it was Scott Kirkpatrick, it was Annie. And I'm still like really close with all those people. Like,
it's a good group.
Super close with Jake and Scott right now. We still talk probably every week. But I love those guys.
They all have their own wine brands. So a shout out for Jacob Franklin Wines. Grey Pez Wines.
Grey Pez, you got Mountain Tides.
Trying to get them on the podcast.
Hint.
They have all been.
They're a lot cooler than me, so they're not going to show up.
At least we know. Now we have an answer.
I'm surprised Jacob hasn't. I just call him Jacob. Jake.
We've been trying.
We will get. I'm persistent.
Oh God, yes. She's going to make it happen.
I'll talk to him.
I get what I want.
That doesn't mean
Once
anything.
he hears this,
that sounds bad. I just mean when I set my mind to a goal, I can normally achieve it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, educational, animal-wise, you have this.
My dreams. I'm kind of done with life. I got a dog.
You kind of arrived.
I have arrived. I'm not sure what to do next.
Oh my God.
I'm here.
So speaking of arriving, I'd like to bring up the first installation of this podcast. We're going to jump around here a little bit, but Monday, October the 19th at 2 a.m.
So we're doing October 2020.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
And then we're doing Calistogas too, because that was a fun flare last week. So next month we'll do something different.
Perfect. So I'll go ahead and start off with Monday, October the 19th. At 2:06, a woman came into the police department lobby saying she was being stalked and injured by radiation. She did not need medical attention. So I'm wondering if she had a little tinfoil hat on as well. It protects against the radiation. It does.
Does it really?
Yeah, you're a doctor, you should know.
Right. I missed that class.
The tinfoil class? Surprised you didn't know that.
What about on October 22nd, reported a suspicious man sleeping behind a shed near Madrona Avenue. Why was he sleeping near it, not in it?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I have all
that's-
these cushions outside and I'm waiting for someone to be sleeping on them.
Yeah, I mean, do a little searching. You'd be comfortable.
Jason might be out there in the morning. I don't know.
I have Monday, October 12th, military time, 5:18. A call reported being followed and aggressively yelled at by a woman walking on Pratt Avenue.
Oh,
Interesting.
Not
Pratt
sure what
gets-
to say.
it's
but
very
that's
scary.
exciting.
how about at 9:44, a man said he hadn't been able to get a hold of his wife for a few hours. She contacted him soon.
Oh, that poor wife.
I feel like she was maybe doing that on purpose.
Yeah, she needs her space.
I think she was just taking a little drive, maybe a little shopping.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I think he forgot to tell us the beginning of the story where they got into a little tip before she left.
There was definitely a tip.
Need some me
Yeah.
time. Can I go on 8:35? Are we going in order right now?
No,
we're
you
not.
just
It's
go for
I
it.
feel like
It's go rogue.
report of a person yelling. I'm just following this trend of people randomly yelling at people. Like,
There's Wallace. Randomly grunting.
that's awesome. Report of a person yelling at passing drivers and shining a flashlight at their faces on Pratt Avenue.
Oh.
Okay, I have another one on Pratt. We're gonna jump right into it. And I actually had like a second-hand story about this. Okay, so this is Monday, November 2nd. This is kind of long, so bear with me. A Pratt Avenue resident said a woman showed up on his porch at 10:30 last night asking for help with her car. She said her cell phone was dead and she needed motor oil. She backed out of his driveway and headed towards Silverado Trail. He thought it was strange because his home was far away from the road and his driveway was dark. He described her as brunette, about 5'6", with fair complexion, medium build, wearing a jacket. Okay, that kind of sounds like me, and it was my dad's house. It was not me. But this was my dad. And he, the next day, he's like, oh my gosh, did I tell you what happened last night? I'm like, no, you haven't mentioned it. He has, cameras in front of his house, so I was able to watch the full thing.
Huh.
It is sketchy.
What happened?
So he does live, very off the road. So this lady, came down, halfway through her driveway, turned off the lights. I mean, it's dark. She,
What time of night is this?
10:30ish.
Okay.
She rings the doorbell, and she's asking for help with her car, and he's like, nope, sorry. She's like, my check engine light's on. What does that mean? He's like, it could mean a lot of things. And she just wouldn't leave, and it was really creepy. And he was trying to be nice.
Did Tom know said person?
No.
Oh, it was a
a random person, and
That's kind of.
it was and he's like, I think there was something else, I don't know if she was casing or but it was just sketchy. And he was trying to be nice because he's like, young girl, I think of you showing up, and he's like, well, you can call someone. She's like, my cell phone's dead.
Oh, that's yeah.
It was just creepy. And then she goes back to her
She
car
left.
and slow backs out and then drives away really slow. It was
That's weird.
really creepy.
So, is there more to the story?
That's it.
Oh.
I just I have a personal tidbit to add to this log. If she was trying to steal the dog, that would just be the worst crime ever. Anyway,
So, living in San Diego, speaking of having dogs, do you guys have any animals there at the house?
At the Driscoll
Driscoll
residence?
residence?
Yeah. No, we have Duke.
Oh my god.
He's our 7-year-old yellow lab.
Cool.
So cute.
I hope this is picking up on the
I know.
microphone because Wallace is a grunter. Grunter.
He's
Oh,
currently
yeah.
grunting.
And then we have 3 chickens.
We do the 3 chickens.
Mabel, May, and Midnight.
That is
And they are all hens.
fantastic.
They're all
Are
hens.
you aware of the rooster ordinance in St. Helena?
Yeah, we were told.
Yeah.
So, but if we had a rooster, which we found out after we did not, we had a place to rid ourselves of the rooster where it would be taken care of.
Like where
the
you eat
barbecue
it?
or the oven?
No, someone would take care of it.
Oh, in a farm for the rest of
Take
its life.
care of it. Quotes.
Wait, what is
No.
you're not allowed to have roosters here?
It's in the
That's
town.
good. Calistoga has a rooster ordinance. St. Helena has a rooster. You cannot have a rooster
But you can
within the St. Helena.
But you can have chickens.
Yes.
But county, you could have roosters, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So,
County's a lot more free.
Is it because they're too aggressively loud?
And do you want to be woken up every morning? And
yeah,
I
they're,
would
5 in
be.
the morning
Could
with
you imagine how
coffee and
grumpy I would be if I woke up at 5 in the
and
morning?
our neighbors are
with roosters?
right
like they're right over the fence from where we have our chickens.
I would eat that rooster if it
Yeah.
was my neighbors. If it was waking me up at 5.
have a rooster tonight.
But if you drank enough tilth the night before,
You're just giving me a shout out, like plug.
you wouldn't even care. So we're drinking. Speaking
Or
of this-
maybe you would extra care if you drank the whole bottle. It's 5 in the morning.
So, drinking some 2019 Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir
That's right.
tilth.
Yep.
Tell us about the old tilth there.
So I was working for a guy named, and actually a team. It's David and Catherine DeSanti Wines,
Okay.
in 2014 and 15, and under them, they let me start my own brand. And I originally was making Zinfandel from Lake County, so up top of Mount Canucti. But my passion kind of was my real interest was in Pinot Noir, so I started making Pinot for Ibu, and eventually I wanted to make sort of a entry-level priced Pinot Noir from the Sonoma Coast. So finally I got some Sonoma Stage fruit from Petaluma Gap, got some fruit from Tina Marie and Russian River, and we're just trying to make sort of, kind of nice seamless Pinot for an affordable price.
Man, well, super good, man. And
Thanks,
it smells
man.
awesome, and it's just
I did a really good job selling it just then, like sort of. So it's like, it's good.
it's going on.
Tastes
the
like
show
wine.
notes. It's going on the
Just
show notes.
like
I think it's red.
it's red. It tastes like red juice.
Oh my god, phenomenal.
No.
But no, I mean it's cool, and you're a cook by the glass at Cook even, right? Or by the
Our
bottle.
Chardonnay's by maybe our Pinot's by the bottle there. Our Chardonnay's by the glass,
Yep. And then at Market, you're by the
glass and by the
glass.
bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
Market's awesome. Cook's
Yeah.
awesome. We've had a lot of support. At
You
St.
have
Helena.
infiltrated this town, is what you're saying.
I have infiltrated this town. We're by the bottle at Charter Oak.
There we go.
That was
and
fancy. That's fancy for me though.
Shout out. That's where we all.
That's where we all
met.
hung
That
out.
place is awesome.
At the wildfire.
Well, you guys
benefit
knew
there.
each other. I just showed up.
It was
That's
fun.
fine.
Well, I was actually by myself. Hillary
We
and
weren't gonna
the
say
kids
how
were in
lonesome you
Sun
looked.
Valley.
So flashback to October.
Something.
Uh,
October 21st.
Wow.
October 20th.
Didn't realize you were keeping notes.
For why the next day. That's the only reason I know.
Like, all right. Well,
Because I felt it the next morning. We had a little different next mornings. I will be honest, I was struggling a little bit. I kind of had to rally and get myself to the airport, and you were saving lives.
I didn't save any lives, but we were looking for someone.
You were flying a helicopter, and I was texting you like, "Oh my gosh, this is a rough morning," and you were like, "I am
up.
fine.
Flying this
I'm
helicopter.
fine." But I think maybe Jason and I had some champagne after you had stopped.
I definitely stopped.
drinking.
And FYI, anyone from Army Aviation, I was within my AR 40-8 minimums for alcohol consumption.
You
before
were.
flying. I was.
Because you checked and you stopped
well,
at
you
the correct
stopped.
time and all
you were
that.
drinking water.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Thank
Yeah.
you for validating.
Yeah,
me.
no, you.
I really wanted to go the other way just to mess with you, but I actually
I was
remember.
gonna say I will vouch, but that's why we drank the champagne, and that's why
You had a rougher morning.
that's why Julie, our producer, was texting you like, "What did you and Hillary do last night?" Because I'm trying to make sure she's getting on that plane to meet me in paradise.
She made it. She
We made it anyway.
Wow, that was
Anyway.
it was fun though. I mean, I was there.
It was
like
a
I was
great
kind of you
night.
guys. I felt important. Like I got a phone call.
I
We
feel like
got
I was
search and
bothering
rescue.
you guys.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, you were super important.
Got search and rescue. Let's
Yes.
go do it. And I was like, I'm on it. Sorry guys, gotta quit drinking.
But we had a great
It
time.
was fun. We felt bad for Jason.
Yeah, I know. We
'Cause
should
we
have
got
talked about that
there-
in front of him, and he was like alone and crying at the bar.
I
And we're like,
was-
"Ooh, we should probably like
I was
have him
like-
sit down."
We'd ask him like, hey man, do you want like a magazine or something? Like, are you bored?
They have crayons and a coloring book.
So anyway, Jason became part of our group. We planned this podcast, and here we are.
We did. We put him in the calendar like a minute
Immediately.
Like
in advance.
that night.
Yes.
Like, oh,
I told you I am persistent.
I think we even drank some tilth at that point too. Didn't we have some tilth? I thought we had some tilth there.
Probably not.
I
Maybe
don't
not.
think so.
No, but you can. No, let's put that in here though. Let's plug it. Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Just like tilth all night.
Tilth was
Like,
great. It was great. So,
no, we had like champagne
what,
and
you know what
cocktails.
Yeah.
You did. That's what we had.
Hence why that flight was a little rough.
Had we been smarter, we'd have had some tilth on top of it. But I mean, you guys do all sorts. So you do Pinot Noir, you do Zinfandel, which is really cool because I think Zinfandel is like one of the coolest like old school California grapes to me, right?
Well, I
What do
didn't
you feel
know
like about
how
that?
much I loved Zin. Like I just started making. To be completely honest, it was what I could afford. Like when we first started,
Yeah.
Lake County Zin is awesome, and it's like not
We
Napa
like
Valley
honesty.
prices. So so I got that. I was like, this is awesome, and I can sell it for $20 or $25, which to me was like affordable. You know, it's still like upper end for a lot of people, but like shit. I mean, Napa Zin is pretty expensive,
Yep.
especially if you're like a seller hand. So I got into it. I learned on Zin, and then I really just started falling in love with Zin throughout the years.
Cool.
I thought like Cab, Pinot, all the traditional. I know Zin's like the ultimate traditional when you think about it. But the more you learn about Zin, it's a heritage variety. I mean, it's like OG California.
No, it
So
is.
you start going here, Old Vine Zin here. You go to Lodi, you go to Contra Costa. You hear all these people's stories, like third generation, fourth generation growers just growing Zin. I mean, it's killer.
It's cool.
I
When it
have a
comes to, like-
question for you.
Yes,
Do you feel that like your passion of cooking that you wanted has now been fulfilled through making wine?
totally, yeah.
Like and more?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of. I had no idea I would like making wine this much.
That's
Like I enjoy, I like the process, but I'm not like a salesman, and I'm not in no way I'm not a business. I'm learning business as I move on. Like I'm friends with guys that are more businessmen, and like they hire winemakers, and they're like I kind of look to them for advice, but I belong in the cellar. I love making the stuff, and
That's
it's a
magical.
slower process than cooking. Cooking's like super high paced. Really high intensity. At least it was for me because I sucked at cooking. At the end of the day, like wasn't the best student in culinary school, but
So that's why we got takeout tonight.
why we got takeout
Yeah.
pizza, cold pizza, by the way. but no, and then I don't know. I'm probably talking too much, but like the grower side of it is pretty awesome. Like learning the stories of people. I'm really talking extra about growers because eventually I want to buy your fruit. So you know, that's my pitch. That's my pitch. No, I love growers.
Oh my god. No, I think it's really cool though that you got, you do all sorts of different appellations. You got the Lodi thing going, you got the Cocoa thing, Contra Costa thing going, Lake County. And they're all just really good. I mean, you do, what's your secret to making it so tasty? Because
Making it so tasty.
it's really good.
Is it scrumptious?
Please cut that out. That sounds completely ridiculous right now. But I
No,
mean,
that's
all the stuff is
staying.
good, man. It really is like what you do.
It's
I'm
good
sure,
wine.
because here's my question. So I'm sure there are challenges in other. Well, Zin does pretty well in hot areas like Lodi and Lake County. So, but you're probably challenged with some.
No, Zin is one of the
You know
most
what I mean?
challenging
Like,
things I've ever
Because
made.
in places like that where maybe it's not ideal for growing grapes, but you're still doing it. Like how do you manage it? How do you do?
And then
make
still
good
get a
wine?
good product at the
Yeah.
end.
At some point, I think it's good. Like, so I trained under the DeSantis, and they're very smart people.
Mhm.
Like, they know their chemistry, they know their math. They're very like, they taught me a lot about like, because if I didn't train under them, I would have done everything like wild yeasts, like all like gone nuts and just not added sulfur. Because to me, like the romance of it is
Mhm.
like was taking over. Like I just love the idea of like throwing grapes in a bin and not touching it, and then they were like, all right, that's
I think it
really adorable, but you're making really shitty wine
Yeah.
right now. But so I kind of learned how to combine the two, like have like a light hand on it, like
Mhm.
control the ferments, and not just let them go.
Yeah.
Manage it ferment by ferment, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
But and to be completely honest, every single year is different. So I'm learning. This year was a
Ooh.
killer learner year for me.
Yeah.
But every year I feel like that I've started. I've only been doing it since 2012.
This
But
year
our-
was totally normal. I don't know
Yeah,
what
what
you
are
guys
you
are
talking about? Fires? What? Like heat,
How
like
much-
heat spikes,
Yeah.
all these things.
I
like,
thrived this year.
It
It
was all
was,
throughout.
it was my Super Bowl.
it was your yeah. Hashtag 2020.
I love ambiguity. I was totally fine. Well, I mean, being in the army, like every day is a different challenge and a different problem, and like whatever. It's just 2020 in a nutshell. It's basically being in the army.
Healthcare.
Same.
It's really confusing. But so, did you have problems with smoke and fires and stuff in
I
the
did.
areas you buy from?
I did. The thing is, everybody did. So
Sure.
it was like, I don't know. It was different this year than 17 because like I was picked out in 17. This
Yeah.
year, I think everybody got it. Well, I know everybody got it. So it was a different feel this year. Like it was kind of we're all in this together. And I'm on an email chain, bunch of different winemakers like saying what they're doing. Everybody's sharing information. I don't know. I've been lucky to be like, I don't know. People are super friendly.
Any smoke yet that you've seen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple of lots that unfortunately I may have to reject. I had to reject one lot,
Yeah.
one vineyard in Russian River, and I actually regret doing that because I got results later on that it was I have smoke tainted fruit, but if you taste it blind, you don't think about it. You don't think about the numbers. I'm gonna get in trouble saying this, but like it's kind of tastes decent. Like you don't think I don't know if the consumer's gonna know.
Right. But the numbers might be high, so you gotta.
But the numbers are like based on a contract.
Yeah.
The numbers are rejectable.
Yeah.
But
Would it hurt you though? Like by drinking a smoke tainted wine, is
Well,
that
hurt.
That's what I mean. Like it's not gonna
I mean, if you
be
drink
bad
a
for
bottle
you.
of it, you're gonna hurt the next morning.
Different
No,
reasons.
but different.
But do you get what I'm asking?
Like
Like
October 20th reasons. You know what I mean? Like, not through the smoke.
I made it to the airport just fine, thank you. Julie drove me. I asked if she could bring saltine crackers, and I greeted Julia when she got off the plane in Oakland, and we thrived. So all
That was
matters.
that was such a cool
Yeah.
St. Helena Napa Valley night for me.
It was fun.
It was
Because I went there with
fantastic.
no expectations.
Yeah.
My kids and Hillary were in Idaho. They left because of the fires. So I was like, you know what, my friend. Well, Josh was throwing that deal, and we I forget it was a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Right?
It was great. Yeah.
And it was just a cool moment.
It was
there's
so
all
much
these different
fun.
people, and I don't know.
They all did a great job, and they went to the Invictus Fund, or
I think so.
The Harlan
For
It's pretty
fire
cool. Yeah,
stuff.
so we did good things. They had a cool little raffle, little fundraiser. Made a bunch of money.
The food is great.
Food is awesome.
I just think our town's pretty cool.
It is.
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan. Yeah.
I'm sticking around.
Indeed. Even with
Yeah. Can
The
we
vicious
go,
crime.
even with people calling, asking. This is on October 19th as
transition.
well at 10:30. A caller asked about a helicopter that was carrying water in the burn area. Yep, that's what they do.
How about reported suspicious people possibly doing drugs in a car near Vallejo Crane? They were just charging their phones during the power outage.
Are we ready to get into this one yet?
Wait, hold up.
You first.
2 soccer players at Muley Park had repeatedly been approached by a woman who was taking her shirt off.
My question is, how old was this woman? Because I feel like they probably weren't complaining if she was a different age.
This is that is wild.
That's all it says? Is there more detail?
That's all it says.
I want more detail. I mean, not that much more detail.
So Chris can show up next time.
Oh my god, this might be in Mealy Park just playing soccer.
But like
Oh.
soccer, if you're playing at Muley Park, that's like where kids play soccer, right?
So that's
not
probably
like
why.
It's true. May have been a bit much.
Yeah, maybe a little inappropriate.
Yeah.
Public indecency, isn't that what the
So
term
speaking of
is?
inappropriate, are we ready to get into the white BMW?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
This is gonna be a minute, guys. So just
bear with us.
I actually think Jason might have the first one.
I feel like I jumped the gun, guys. That was when I was.
Well, let me just start by saying this is again Monday, October 19th.
If you are the white BMW, please come and give us your side of the story.
We want to interview you on 911, and I may add we have yet to have any complaints or negative feedback to this podcast, so please be our first.
No, we're that wonderful.
1622, report of a woman yelling at juveniles riding their bikes near Main and Pope. She drove away in a white BMW.
Report of a person with a white BMW yelling profanity and making rude gestures on Church Street.
1711, report of a woman smoking cigarettes and yelling profanity at pedestrians and passing vehicles near Miley Park. She had a white BMW. Caller said the same woman was yelling at people at the skate park on Sunday morning.
11:38 reported someone associated with a white BMW climbing a tree near a coffee shop and yelling profanities at people near Oak/Adams.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Here we go. Here's another one. This is October 31st, so Halloween, 12/21. Report of a woman threatening a young cyclist near Miley Park. The caller said the woman was acting crazy and screaming at the juvenile. The woman left in a white BMW.
Sunday, November 1st at 10:50 in the morning, report of a woman acting bizarre and driving a white BMW. 12:21 later that day, report of a reckless driver in a white BMW on Sulphur Springs Avenue.
This lady's getting some
I mean, and then
neighbor
here,
time.
this may be related. I don't know, but we're gonna read it. October the 16th, Friday, 10:30. An agitated man was seen kicking the door of a new public restroom near Oak Avenue. The new restrooms. This is a big deal for St. Helena. And it's not even open yet. He drove away in a...
White BMW.
Exactly.
I think they're married.
They must be.
He really had to pee.
He had to pee.
And I think he's so frustrated with his wife being the police like so much, he left the house to pee to go to the new public
This is his
restroom.
only time.
And he got there and
He's
they
so
weren't
angry.
open yet, and he was so angry. He just had to tinkle.
So, please, if you own a white BMW or you've been yelling at children or you're using profanities...
Wait, don't
at
we
people in
know
the park.
someone that drives a white BMW?
My wife may or may not drive a white BMW.
Hillary,
Guys.
do we need an intervention?
Do you know what she's doing during the day? Do we need to...
Apparently, yelling profanities near the fire department. I think I have the conclusion to this, but you'd have to go back in time. Police were asked to talk to a troubled woman.
In a white BMW.
So there's that. Yeah, in a white BMW.
Oh my gosh.
And the story must have ended happy.
I like to think it did.
How epic would that be if you got her to be a guest on your show?
That's what we've tried before with other residents of San Diego. It hasn't gone well.
They didn't even read our
They
message.
didn't really read our
We
message.
weren't even left on red. Like it was like they didn't even acknowledge it.
Completely ignored. So, you know,
That's
I
so
mean,
good.
we're gaining a lot of stature in the community. We expect to be on the next edition of San Helena Living.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait for our poses.
It's gonna have
And my
Wallace,
outfit.
Wallace front and center.
Well, that's because Wallace is beautiful and perfect. Might be biased.
By the way, he is very much like at my feet, not yours or yours. So I feel like I'm the favorite.
I think you are.
I think he's like in that stage where he's revolting against his parents. So he's just trying to find that.
Against his
less,
parents.
less than a week. and
He's
he's already
7 weeks old.
Oh my god. So Jason, you got Tilth, and then you also have a couple other brands. Let's hear about the Ibu.
So
Is that right?
yeah. So Ibu, Hibou. It's French for owl. Owl was trademarked. No, but the story is. So, anyways, my kids have their loveys were owls when they were born. Their loveys, like their little towel or something that their little. What do you call it?
Things.
Stuffed animal that
Trinkets?
you hold on to that comforted them were owls. And they had those for years, and they were like worn down, ripped apart. And then the sales side of it is, which is also true. I just think it can sound cheesy, but like the hidden gems of the Sonoma Coast of like coastal vineyards are owls. I mean, they're pretty intimidating creatures, and you go and you look at these vineyards, and there's like you can see these owls
Watching you.
in their like little boxes that they have on the trees. I mean, I didn't grow up here. I didn't grow up like touring the Sonoma Coast or anything. So my only sense of California was working in wine and going to like explore these places on my own or with DeSantis or with whoever I was working with. Mm-hmm. So seeing like the nature is pretty spectacular. And owls to me were like super intimidating, kind of like sexy creatures. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. But we basically do like 3 to 4 barrels of vineyard. So Tilth is a collection of vineyards, right? AVA programs. And then we'll take like, 3, sometimes it's 1 barrel, but like 3 barrels mainly on average from each vineyard. And we'll like say, this is awesome. These are great. Let's bottle them on our own. And it goes under Ibu.
Nice.
But
And then you do like a single vineyard under those.
it's all single vineyard.
Oh, cool.
All single vineyard. And I mean, we would make more, but like, try sound like we don't have that kind of following yet.
You will now.
So yeah, now we're gonna be massive. But like,
You just got we call the 911 bump.
yes, it
You'll
is.
probably get 2 to 3 followers.
So
Like
I
6
sold
months.
out last night because of you guys. But so there's that, and that's honestly the most. That's a lot of fun making
Cool.
because it's not like you don't stress about it. It's not a lot of production. And
Yeah.
I have fun with that.
No, it's a really cool label too. Your labels are. I mean, just you got the Dandelion?
Dandelion Sea Pod. Yeah. Grew up in a house. My mom collected antique botanical prints.
Ah.
So I always wanted to make a label out of it.
I like that.
We got a lot of help. Buddy,
Yeah.
shout out Jared Clevenger. Designed that
Oh, yeah,
label.
Jared, of
Yeah.
Do we?
He's married to
Carolyn.
Carolyn Shiflett.
Shiflett, yeah.
Good people.
Oh,
Oh gosh, report of suspicious person hiding behind a generator and screaming near Main Street. Police arrested a 28-year-old Napa woman on suspicion of trespassing.
so I've never seen these people in person. I've never come across these
Because
experiences.
you're working.
This is awesome. This is
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna I'll take a week off work, get lawn chairs, and just put them
Just watch.
on Main Street.
I just want people
Listen to the
watch.
scanner.
Near Anna's, we're gonna listen to this. We're gonna get my mom's big scanner so we look official. She has like a jumbo Radio Shack
I fixed
one,
it for her the other day.
and we are just gonna listen and be like, we're gonna get quarter zips and we're gonna be official.
Quarter zips?
Yeah, we already have one.
Wait, hold on.
You want one?
What's a quarter zip?
Oh,
Is that is this a quarter zip?
yeah, it is.
yeah.
But the ones we're talking have more pockets and it's a little thicker,
It's nice.
and it's nice.
We'll post a picture today.
Do you have 911 quarter zips?
Of course we do.
100%.
You better believe I ordered those.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going all in. This is fantastic.
Fanny
got a
packs
guy.
come next.
Just got a guy.
A man reportedly punched a coworker in the face, starting a fight that was broken up by another coworker. The suspect who threw the first punch was last seen heading east on Madrona Avenue in a white truck.
We hunt.
Police. Yeah, I live off of I live off of Madrona, just for everybody to know. What?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
Where were
off
you
of
working?
Madrona.
That's a good question.
In a vineyard, maybe?
The vineyard.
Spotswood. You heard it here first. I won't start that. Never mind.
Is he walking? Let me take him out to pee, because otherwise he'll pee on your carpet. Pause, everyone.
Pause. Intermission.
Come here, little boy.
Oh,
Come here, let's go tinkle. Let's go
Can-
tinkle.
Can you put that on the
I
podcast?
need to tinkle too.
We'll return after this brief 5-minute commercial break. Brought to you by our sponsor, Geyer Frères, Maison Fond, and Charmin toilet paper.
Okay, we're back.
And we're back!
Wallace tinkled, Chris tinkled.
Let's try to do a commercial.
This podcast brought to you by Jason Driscoll Wines, founders of Tilth and Hiboo, and also by a small dog named Wallace.
Aww.
He did such a good tinkle.
That's, you
I've been told the same.
she was talking about you. You did such a good tinkle.
Anyhow.
Like I said, things started going downhill here at dinner, and we're just making it through.
Well, what about a woman found someone's wallet on the roof of her car? How did it get there?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Caught in the same way, this was on October 19th, apparently I have that day. 1901, 7:01 at night, a report of a large object blocking a lane of traffic near Silverado Trail and Meadowood Road. It turned out to be a bag of dry leaves. Good call.
Wah, wah.
This is, I don't know if this is sad or funny, it's weird, 2011, 8/11. A Park Street resident said his cat might have been run over by a car. I don't feel that's something you might know, but he asked for extra patrol due to cars speeding from Cornell to Pratt. So hopefully the cat made it, we don't know.
Now, here's what I'm wondering. This is not funny, but it's so.
Why do I laugh every time you say that?
But a person received a scam phone call claiming to be from FEMA and requesting personal information. Is that something you call the police about?
I don't know.
Like, I get
Who you
scam
call?
phone calls all the time.
I do too. Maybe because FEMA did it, because
We
FEMA was
have-
actually here.
Okay, that makes
I
sense.
would just keep them on the phone and talk to them and try to make...
That's where you start
Waste
asking
of time.
them questions.
That's how Chris gets his dates, actually.
I guess that makes sense.
He asks their sign. He wants to know what they do for fun.
Hi.
Once they say they like long walks on the beach, he is in.
I was like,
Getting
FEMA?
a lot of
What's
yelling
FEMA even
and
stand for? Oh, you know. Come over.
Well, speaking of calling, if we should call 911, someone called 911 to report smoke coming out of a chimney near Sylvaner/Riesling. The caller wanted to report it due to air quality. Dispatch notified officers and told the caller to reserve 911 for emergencies.
Oh.
She got told.
she got done.
Similar story. Thursday, October 22nd at 4 p.m. Someone called the police department to report that a pro-Trump sticker had been placed on city property near Main Street. Oh my gosh. Should we move on?
I don't even like the.
Yeah, you got some terrible ones.
I got bad.
We usually give the guests bad ones so we sound more funny.
That's
the thing. And then
That's
we
not
force
fair.
them to talk about their own wine a little bit more. Wait, so the third wine we drank tonight, the Ramble.
Oh yeah.
Let's deal with the
I
Ramble.
wanted
Valley.
This was a fun wine to be involved with. So Bill Davies started this project called Ramble.
Cool.
Honestly, so this is a fun project because it pushed me outside of my kind of comfort zone. So I met Bill like in the middle of harvest last year. He was looking for someone to help him kind of get started this new brand and make his wines. He was down in Cal Poly at the time. And he came up obviously, but like we got it going. He got his fruit from Buddha's Dharma Vineyard up in Mendocino, and wanted to work with his Valdegi. And I thought it was simple enough. You know, it's fine. This sounds fun. Let's do it. And what was challenging to me was like he was like, "We're gonna make this all natural. Like we're not gonna add anything. We're gonna go with it." And I'm like, "Bill, this is like you're spending money on this. You're spending money on custom crud, all these things like." Literally not adding anything whatsoever. Totally different, kind of eye-opening experience for me. And it came out super fresh, and I was kind of excited about it, so I thought I'd bring it tonight. But I think it's kind of cool what he's doing. He's got a great story, and he's just making a little bit of wine, and they're fun. It's I don't know. And there's no faults to the wine,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
it's
it turned
interesting,
out
right? Like it makes me. I'm too nervous to do it myself.
I
like
feel
for my
very
own brand.
organic drinking it.
I just feel really special.
I do.
No,
So that's Bill Davies, Hugh Davies.
Hugh Davies' older brother.
Older brother. Got it. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And we all know
It-
he's Transberg and what other things does Hugh do?
He the only thing I know about Hugh, besides obviously Transberg, and he's heavily involved in like the Little League and
Yeah.
the school. Like he's really involved with that stuff. Our kids go to the same school, but yeah.
I dig it.
Anyways.
It's cool. Valley is a cool, just a cool grape, right?
Yeah, it's an awesome grape. I love working with Valdegi. So I got to for Tilth we made a red Val. So this is a rosé, but we made a Valdegi whole cluster Valdegi from Frediani Vineyard, which I was
Nice.
super stoked about. That was really fun to make. That's another story though.
So explain the whole cluster thing for our listeners. A lot of people do that. It's kind of a hip way to do wine. Like native yeast, whole cluster. Like explain that whole.
Yeah, well, like you can. So I coming from like a culinary background, not really coming from a educated winemaking background. I would literally look at tech sheets or which is at the end of the day marketing material. So people don't necessarily tell the truth on tech sheets. But and I'd say, oh, this guy is like all natural. That like barely adds sulfur, uses all native yeast, and does whole cluster. So I started doing whole cluster just because I thought that's like what the wines I loved were using a bunch.
Yeah.
So that's what got me the whole cluster. I've learned my lesson. Like I've gotten native ferments to finish. I do a lot of native ferments, but I also inoculate. So I'm not afraid to admit that. But whole cluster is just simply taking it off the vine and fermenting on the stem. You're not taking the grapes off. And I think if done right, it kind of gives a really nice spice component and like a lighter red fruit component
Cool.
to the wine. So it's fun in like small components.
Yeah.
And in certain varieties, it's really good when you can go 100% and it tastes awesome. Others, it
Yeah.
may
Do you do
not
any
taste
with
the
Tilth,
best.
or
Yeah, so Tilth, that's 30% whole cluster.
nice.
The Pinot, last year was 70% whole cluster, so it changes every year.
How do you make the call?
Really, the state of the fruit when it comes in, pH. So like the pH goes up for us. Like I've noticed, if it from harvesting and if it's from the Russian River and you get it, sometimes pH is like 3.7. If you're gonna ferment on the whole clusters, I've seen our pH go up to 4. So it's it can really make a pretty fat monster wine. Still can taste good to some people, but And then if it's like super sunburnt fruit and or you have rot, I want to be able to sort that. I don't want just to blindly throw in whole clusters and ferment on the rot. Am I getting too technical?
No, this is good.
Okay,
No,
okay.
Super good.
But so yeah, there are you have to make kind of conscious decisions, but and then sometimes it's just I'm being completely honest. Like some wineries, they don't want to set up the December. You're bringing in one, and you're the only ton coming in right now. Like, all right, screw it. Let's do this. Let's see how this turns out. So,
That's cool. Because it imparts more of, like you said, a spice or more of a. Can it be more green though too? Because you're having more racuses in there, like that. Those always confuse me.
Here's the thing. So I've had both, and it really depends. It's clone, it's site, it's soil, it's pH, but it's also temperature of the ferment, how long you're leaving it on skins. So I've learned to kind of press sweet with stems. So I don't let there be a lot of presence of ethanol or alcohol when you're on the stem. So I like to ferment. And after, maybe at 3 bricks or whatever, we can press and finish. Because then you start really extracting some kind of bitter tannins or that greenness.
Yeah, so you want to pull it off before that.
Yeah, I want the benefits. Because I want the benefits of the kind of carbonic aspect of it. And sometimes it lends itself to some nice structure. And did he bite you?
Meanwhile, they're getting attacked by Wally. Is everything okay?
Yeah, you just got my finger.
Oh my gosh. Wally's a fan of carbonic maceration.
For sure.
Huge fan.
Huge fan. He loves it. As does our Mountain Tides friends.
Oh, okay.
Right? Should we
do a shout out
about Scott and Allison with Mountain Tides and their carbonic?
Their carbonic Petite Sirah.
Petite Sirah?
It's fantastic.
Right?
Yes.
Do you want to explain what that is for those people that?
For those who listen to the 911 for the crime and not the wine.
Yeah. Thank you.
So this is my janky way of a carbonic fermentation is you get grapes, you put them into a container.
With carbon.
You dump a bunch of dry ice on top, essentially, and you seal it. And then this is kind of a cheat code way to go is you pump fermenting juice in the bottom valve to spark the fermentation. So you all the while sealed, by the way. So it kind of
in a vessel of sorts.
In a vessel, say a PT or I did it in a. So they only had open tops.
Okay.
So I don't know how Scott does it, but I've only done it once, an actual carbonic. Scott actually does carbonic for his, for as far as I'm concerned, for his petite.
Yeah.
But what I understand is that it's intracellular fermentation, so it's the grapes are fermenting within themselves, and it's really it leads to this really kind of friendly, nice and fruit forward wine. It can be really complex too with petite, but that's how they do Beaujolais Nouveau, all that. But then there's really serious wines that are made in that style. But you're not doing any pump overs or punch downs.
Yeah,
you're just letting it ferment in that tank. Bunch of presence of CO2.
So basically, it's fermenting without oxygen.
Yes.
With
it's
liquid nitrogen.
With liquid
dry
nitrogen. No, well, you put the dry ice, which is CO2. It's CO2 pellets, and you put them on top.
Do you have a guy our medical office has a guy?
I'm sure it
delivers my
delivers
liquid
the CO2.
nitrogen.
Oh yeah, there's liquid nitrogen. You got a guy. What are you doing with liquid nitrogen?
Freezing stuff.
What do you freeze with liquid nitrogen?
You can freeze
You can make ice cream
skin
and stuff.
abnormalities and warts.
Oh, I
and,
forgot. Yeah, I've heard about that.
You can do a actinic and
What was that word? I have no idea what you just said.
Hold on.
Hillary's had a
sound
bit
really
too
dumb.
much tilth
No,
tonight.
hold on. Give me a second.
This is going to be great.
Seborrheic keratosis and actinic keratosis.
Okay, she hasn't had so much tilth. That's just a really hard word to say.
And there are 2 different ones. One is harmless, one is precancerous. Anywho, that's my medical talk. Wear your sunscreen. Stay out of the
Welcome to
sun.
our TED Talk.
Anywho, how about 4 or 5 people had parked 2 cars near the flood project and appeared to be flying planes there?
Flying RC planes
What?
or real planes?
Where's the flood project? Question one.
It's
Wait,
near,
that's
it's
like in
the-
Napa. This is
No, this is St.
Hey,
Louis
St.
police
Louis?
log.
God, I don't even know. It's down by the
You guys gave me the worst.
it's down by the mobile home park.
Where I want to live, the old people.
Yeah,
Wait, is that off of Pope Street?
yeah.
I love that
that's,
place.
Vineyard
Valley
Valley.
View, Vineyard Valley.
Vineyard Valley.
I'm trying to live there.
Wait, that's near the flood? Or the
I think that's what the floodplain is, because you know where you go out so you know where the library is.
Yeah.
You get the library vineyard, right?
Yeah.
Wallace.
and
That's an awesome video, by the way. Yeah.
Right? Isn't that fun? Shout out to Turley. And then you go down that road, and that's like the flood area where the water goes there instead of into the trailer,
Okay,
the mobile
okay.
park. Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you think they were real planes?
I'm sure they were not,
I'm like, you guys.
but you never know.
It's disappointing.
We really set Jason up for failure.
Here, do you
with
want
this.
some? Here, you can have this.
We can try a Calistoga. I mean, does anyone have a good Calistoga one?
Calistoga was kind of lame this month.
It just didn't. There was not much going
Which
on.
good for you, Calistoga. Keep that crime down.
Yeah.
Keep that crap down.
A medical. This Saturday, October 17th. Medical aid at 1:42 in the morning for a person with head pain. Okay, I would call that a headache. But all right.
Or
And that's Saturday, so it's probably alcohol induced.
We.
Ooh, here's a good one. 1609, 409 at night in the afternoon. Report of someone jumping into traffic and flipping people off on Main Street near Grayson, not driving a white BMW.
That was you.
that was probably me. I get frustrated in traffic. I'm from New Jersey. Report of a young man riding a skateboard. Jared.
Jared,
We went over
we
this.
did. No, we did. I just was looking for something to take the.
Do you want me to talk about a guy riding a skateboard up and down the sidewalk?
Yeah, I do.
If it's better than
Because
Hillary's
it-
dating life, then
It
yes.
leads to. Wait, what do you need? What's up?
I thought we lost the dog. You
No,
just
no,
chewing the
there- he's
cord.
literally very loudly eating the rug.
He's using the computer cord right now.
Oh, it's okay. Report of a young man riding his skateboard up and down the sidewalk along Main Street for the last hour. So this was a very recent report. He's already been asked to stop because he'd almost hit someone or hit some people. Yeah. I'm a big fan. I love skateboarding. I don't think riding a skateboard on a sidewalk is appropriate. But
at least
there's
it's
not a lot of
you know,
space on the
It's a good
street.
activity than drugs.
I think skateboarding is I think more kids should be outside, on a board. Instead of playing a video game, go on a skateboard, get your adrenaline up. I love skateboarding.
What are your kids doing now with all the girls up to now that you have all the COVID stuff?
So we've taken up hockey.
Hockey's good.
We are the most annoying neighbors because we live in a little cul-de-sac,
Yep.
but it's on the side of it, so it's a side sack on the side of the road. But you go and it's
I see
kinda
those
on
at
the side
clinics
of the,
sometimes. Yeah,
oh my gosh. Well, literally, everybody calls it that. But yes, on the street. I said it and I was like, okay. But it's the perfect basketball court, hockey area. So we got 2 nets, and Jay and I just go after each other, just playing hockey. And Ellie is our little artsy.
So
child.
I'm sorry. So one boy, one girl.
One boy, one girl.
Yeah. Okay, I think I said girls. I'm sorry.
Elle
Please edit that out.
is super loves dancing,
It's too
loves
late.
doing all that, and then
I haven't actually met them in my defense.
I'm happy about
Should
that.
just know.
Speaking of meeting my kids, Jake,
Yeah.
this is allowed to be said. Told me before he ever met my kids that he had a nightmare that he was watching my kids, babysitting them,
Yeah.
and one of them choked or something like that. This is while he was working at Honeycutt, 2 weeks into meeting him.
Oh my god.
It's listen, dude.
So he never
Don't ever
babysat.
come over.
So he has yet to meet my kids.
Yeah, smart.
6 years later.
So let's trace this back. So Honeycutt first stop, and then you did that for what, 3 or 4 years?
I worked at Honeycutt for 2 years.
2 years, and then off to
DeSantis.
Santis.
I called DeSantis University, yeah.
Cool.
For 2 years and then
Technical.
off on my own. Because
Okay.
we started in 14,
Yeah.
was the same year I started with DeSantis. And then we grew Tilth and Ebu to a point where we're like, all right, I think we do this.
We'll do this.
We got around 2,000 cases, and it was enough to it was kind of a full-time job. at that point because you got to sell the wine.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're trying to grow.
Well, the dog's fine. In case our listeners are wondering what just happened, I went to go retrieve Wallace while, in pure Hillary fashion, knocked over an entire water ball.
911 Wine has been brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, Delamont Champagne, and Old Spice deodorant. We'll be back after a brief break.
BB gun one.
Oh my god. Wait, we were talking about going off on your own.
Your journey of life.
My journey of life.
2,000 cases, going off on your own.
So we just kind of
yeah.
were making probably got a little ahead of our skis. And
Nice.
is that a phrase?
Yeah,
I think
ahead,
that's a phrase.
over, ahead.
I got a little over my skis.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not the most nature outdoorsy person, so I can't really comment.
not a skier.
But
I am a skier, I just don't know the commentary.
we had to grow into our sales essentially. Yeah. So like we had a really good first two vintages, and then all of a sudden I was like, all right, we're ready to go. Made a bunch of wine. Then that's when it was probably good that we kind of went off on our own to learn that whole side of the business, and then since it's been growing every year, little by little, not like exponentially, just trying to be responsible, but certainly learning a lot and having a blast, to be honest.
Hey, boo. What's next up?
Right now, it's getting through this whole COVID situation.
Yep.
So keeping our sales up, kind of really pushing on really any channel we can to sell what we have. And after that, we were really in a good position to grow before COVID.
Yeah.
And then luckily we were able to continue selling through COVID, not like at the pace I think we could have, just like everybody else, except for the big box guys. But, I just want to have deep relationships with the current growers I have, maybe add a couple more, and just kind of keep on growing a little bit at a time. And, eventually it'd be nice to make a living off of it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of the goal, is to one day own a piece of land and live the dream here.
Do it.
What's your 10-year plan?
Is my 10-year business plan?
What is it?
I think the
More
whole business
personal?
plan is to not have a business plan. Personal, everything is just to kind of keep on pursuing that. I don't know, I want my kids to be happy, want my wife to be happy,
Cool.
want to make money with this brand and have it. Come on, we make wine for a living. So like to make money doing that and then have everybody be happy, it's all good. It's very basic that way. There's specifics, but why get into that?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's like if I'm happy, Hill's happy, we're good.
Well, you're doing a hell of a job with it. This is really phenomenal wine. Where can we find it?
Well, you can find it at local restaurants in St. Helena. You can find it at Sunshine's a huge supporter of us. I love the guys at Sunshine, Matt and Henry.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, just around the valley, little wine shops.
I have one more log to close us out, and then I want to hear about how to contact you.
Yes.
Report of a drunk man in a white sombrero carrying a satchel and a case of beer near Coronella Drive.
He's having a good Tuesday.
He was headed to.
It was 5 p.m. on a Sunday.
Oh man.
That's amazing. So, if we want to buy Tilth wine, Gimbu wine, where
Sunshine.
do we go?
You can go to any of those guys in St. Helena, or you support local. You can go on our website, driscollwineco.com
Nice.
or hebewine.com, or you can call them.
We thank you, first of all, for coming to our podcast. Second of all, for
Been wild.
for dealing with Hillary and Wallace.
What do you
Oh,
mean
the
dealing
look.
with? I think it was like enjoying or like the bonus of Wallace and the like excitement of Hillary.
For those of you that missed it, it will probably get cut out. Wallace pooped in the corner.
Yep.
If you hear some dingling around, it's Wallace.
But I did bring my own Nature's Miracle Advanced
Nature's
to this
Miracle
recording.
Advanced.
Feel free to sponsor us. It works great.
Stain and odors.
Anyway, Jason, thanks.
Anytime,
Thank
man.
you so
All right.
Thanks for
much.
having me.
Cheers! Yay!
Cheers. I got a drop in there.
Woo! All right, well, that wraps up another episode of 911 Wine.
And remember, guys, stay out of the police log. And if you can't be good, be careful.
Yes, hello, the NAR Fire Patrol 43. You enjoy your evening and be safe.